Regret. It's a word that often carries a heavy emotional burden. Whether it's a missed opportunity, a wrong decision, or something left unsaid, regret can feel like a weight that never goes away. It's a lingering echo of the choices we didn't make, or the roads we didn't take. But what if I told you that regret doesn't have to be your enemy? What if, instead of being a source of pain, regret could become one of your most powerful motivators? In this comprehensive exploration, we will unpack the nature of regret, dive into its psychological roots, and learn how to transform those haunting what-ifs into actionable steps for a brighter future. We'll delve into stories of people who used their regrets to fuel their success, provide scientific research that sheds light on the role regret plays in our decision-making, and outline practical strategies to leverage regret as a tool for motivation. So let's begin our journey, turning regret from a negative force into a source of power and transformation. Part 1. Understanding the emotion of regret. What is regret? At its core, regret is a feeling of sorrow or disappointment over something that has happened, or, perhaps more often, over something that didn't happen. It is the emotional aftermath of decisions that didn't turn out the way we hoped or choices we didn't make when opportunities arose. Psychological definition. From a psychological standpoint, regret is classified as a negative cognitive-based emotion. Unlike sadness or anger, which are primarily reactive emotions, regret requires us to engage in a process of reflection. It involves comparing actual outcomes with alternative scenarios. This cognitive comparison, thinking about what could have been, activates the emotional experience of regret. Researchers have found that regret is associated with counterfactual thinking. This means engaging in mental simulations of how events might have unfolded if different choices had been made. We mentally reconstruct the past, imagining better outcomes had we acted differently. And it's this mental game of what could have been that triggers the emotional response we know as regret. The dual nature of regret: action versus inaction.
Regret of action.
Regret of action refers to things we did but wish we hadn't. For instance, saying something in anger during an argument, making an impulsive purchase, or taking a job that didn't align with your passions. These are often situations where the outcome turned out worse than expected. The sting of regret here is that we acted when we should have paused and thought more carefully. Regret of inaction. The regret of inaction, on the other hand, often haunts us for much longer. These are the what-ifs, the chances we didn't take, the dreams we didn't pursue, the relationships we didn't nurture. The regret of inaction is subtler but deeper, like a slow burn that intensifies over time. Psychological studies indicate that as people grow older, they experience more regrets about missed opportunities than about mistakes they made through action. Long-term studies on regret. Several longitudinal studies have shown that in the long term, people regret the things they didn't do more than the things they did, even if those actions led to negative outcomes. The human brain is wired to seek meaning and growth, and the realization that we missed out on something significant can create emotional discomfort that lasts for years, if not decades. The science behind regret: how our brains process it. Neuroscientific research has delved into the way our brains process regret. When we experience regret, the brain's emotional center, the amygdala, lights up in response to the negative emotion. However, it's the prefrontal cortex, the brain's reasoning center, that engages in the mental simulation of what might have been. This dual activation, emotion and reason, makes regret a unique and powerful experience. Interestingly, some neuroscientists believe that regret is essential for adaptive decision-making. By mentally simulating alternative outcomes, we develop a better understanding of how our actions influence our environment and relationships. In this way, regret is more than just a negative emotion. It is also an opportunity to learn and grow. A study conducted by Coricelli and colleagues at the University of Trento in Italy used functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to observe how people's brains react to situations that induce regret. The researchers found that participants experienced heightened activity in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex when thinking about missed opportunities. This area of the brain is crucial for weighing options and making decisions. Their findings suggest that regret isn't just about feeling bad. It plays a critical role in future decision-making processes. Why do we dwell on regret? There's a reason why regret lingers longer than other emotions. Unlike anger or sadness, which we often express and move on from, regret involves a constant reevaluation of past decisions. When we experience regret, our minds enter a loop where we play out different scenarios, wondering how things could have been better if we had chosen differently. This creates a cognitive trap. Psychologists call this phenomenon the Zeigarnik effect, which suggests that people tend to remember unfinished or interrupted tasks more than completed ones. In the case of regret, we see our past decisions as incomplete, meaning we mentally revisit those decisions more often, causing the feeling of regret to resurface. In many ways, regret becomes a signal to our subconscious that we've left something unresolved. This is why it's so difficult to move past it. Our minds are trying to find a resolution. And this, as we will explore later, is the key to using regret as a motivating force, finding a way to complete those unfinished emotional loops by taking new actions. Part 2. The silver lining: how regret can be motivational. Learning from regret, a guidepost for growth. Regret, as painful as it may be, is a reflection of our desire for something better. It signals to us that our choices didn't align with our true values or aspirations. In this way, regret serves as a guidepost for growth and self-improvement. When you feel regret, ask yourself, what does this regret reveal about my values? What actions can I take now to ensure I don't experience the same regret in the future? Let's consider a hypothetical example. Imagine you regret not pursuing higher education. That feeling of regret likely points to a deeper value you hold, perhaps a desire for self-improvement, intellectual stimulation, or better career prospects. The regret here is a signal that you want to grow, and it's guiding you toward future actions that align with your values. This is where regret becomes motivational. It provides clarity about what we truly want in life. The regret avoidance principle, a driver for action. One of the most powerful ways to use regret as a motivational tool is through the principle of regret avoidance. This principle suggests that people are often motivated by the desire to avoid future regret. In fact, much of our decision-making is driven by an attempt to mitigate potential regret down the road. Consider this. How many times have you made a decision based on the fear of missing out? The decision to invest in relationships, to pursue a career opportunity, or to take a chance on a new hobby. All of these actions are often motivated by the desire to avoid future regret. The regret avoidance principle can be harnessed to push you into action today. Ask yourself, in 5 or 10 years, will I regret not taking this opportunity? What steps can I take now to minimize future regret? This shift in perspective, from focusing on past regrets to avoiding future ones, helps propel you toward proactive, positive decisions. It moves regret from being a source of inertia to a force that drives action. The transformative power of regret, from stagnation to growth. For many people, regret can feel paralyzing. It's tempting to ruminate endlessly on what we could have done differently. However, the moment we begin to see regret as a teacher, it becomes a tool for transformation. The difference between those who are trapped by their regrets and those who are motivated by them lies in how they process the emotion. When regret is viewed as a tool for growth, it transforms from an emotion that keeps us stuck to one that propels us forward. Here's how you can reframe regret for growth. Recognize regret as a learning experience. Every regret, no matter how painful, contains valuable lessons. By analyzing past decisions, we gain clarity on what went wrong and how to correct course moving forward. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? How can I apply this lesson to future decisions? Channel regret into actionable goals. Regret often highlights areas of our life where we feel unfulfilled. Use this awareness to set new goals. For example, if you regret not starting a business earlier in life, set a goal to begin now. Transform the regret into motivation to act. Shift the focus to the present and future. One of the most common traps of regret is getting stuck in the past. But remember, the past is beyond our control. What matters now is how you use the lessons of regret to inform present and future actions. The energy you spend dwelling on what could have been can be better spent shaping what will be. Forgive yourself. Finally, a crucial step in turning regret into motivation is self-forgiveness. We are all human, and part of the human experience is making mistakes. By forgiving yourself for past decisions, you free up emotional energy to focus on making better choices moving forward. The role of regret in resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, and regret plays an integral role in developing this skill. When we process regret constructively, we build resilience by learning how to cope with negative emotions, make amends, and move forward. In fact, resilience is often born from the challenges we face and the regrets we experience. Research from the field of positive psychology shows that individuals who can reframe negative emotions, including regret, tend to be more resilient. They are better able to adapt to setbacks, adjust their goals, and maintain a sense of well-being despite adversity. One study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who engage in counterfactual thinking, imagining alternative outcomes, in a constructive way, are more likely to exhibit resilience. Instead of being bogged down by the past, they use their reflections to make positive changes in their lives. So, when you face regret, instead of viewing it as a failure, see it as an opportunity to build resilience. Every time you reflect on your past choices and use them to make better decisions, you are strengthening your ability to navigate life's challenges. Part 3. Turning what-ifs into action. Step 1. Acknowledge and accept your regret. The first and most crucial step in turning regret into action is to acknowledge it fully. Many people try to avoid confronting their regrets, either by suppressing the feelings or distracting themselves with other activities. But avoiding regret only amplifies its emotional impact over time. Instead of burying your regret, embrace it as a natural part of the human experience. The power of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means acknowledging that you can't change the past, but you do have the power to shape your future. Accepting your regret frees you from the emotional chains that keep you stuck, allowing you to move forward with clarity and purpose. Mindfulness and regret. One effective technique for accepting regret is mindfulness. Mindfulness practices teach us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. Instead of reacting to regret with guilt or frustration, mindfulness allows us to observe the emotion as it is. This practice can be incredibly freeing because it removes the emotional charge from regret, making it easier to process. Step 2. Shift your mindset. From regret to opportunity. Once you've acknowledged your regret, the next step is to reframe it as an opportunity. This is a powerful shift in mindset. Instead of seeing regret as a negative emotion, see it as a catalyst for growth. Ask yourself, what opportunities for improvement has this regret revealed? How can I use this insight to make better decisions moving forward? The growth mindset. Psychologist Carol Dweck's concept of the growth mindset is particularly relevant here. According to Dweck, people with a growth mindset see challenges and failures as opportunities to learn and grow, whereas those with a fixed mindset view them as limitations. By adopting a growth mindset, you can turn your regrets into stepping stones for personal development. Reframing techniques. There are several techniques for reframing regret into opportunity. Gratitude. Reflection. For every regret you feel, reflect on what you've learned from the experience. Express gratitude for the lessons no matter how painful they may have been. Future-focused questions. Ask yourself, what can I do today to ensure that I don't feel this regret again in the future? This shifts your focus from the past to the present and future, where you have the power to act. Step 3. Take action on regret. Taking action is the most empowering step in the process of transforming regret. Once you've accepted your regret and reframed it as an opportunity, the next logical step is to act. Regret without action is wasted emotional energy, but regret with action becomes a fuel for transformation. Break regret down into actionable steps. For many people, regret feels overwhelming because they don't know where to start. The key is to break down your regret into small, actionable steps. For example, if you regret not spending more time with family, start by setting aside one evening a week for family time. If you regret not pursuing a passion, take the first step by signing up for a class or dedicating 1 hour a day to practice. The power of small wins. Research has shown that small wins create momentum. Each small action you take toward addressing your regret will build confidence and motivation. As you accumulate these small wins, you'll begin to feel a sense of accomplishment, which will drive you to continue taking action. Step 4. Use regret as motivation for long-term growth. Regret doesn't just motivate short-term action, it can also fuel long-term growth. By consistently using regret as a feedback mechanism, you can make better decisions over time. This requires ongoing reflection and a commitment to learning from your experiences. The role of journaling. One effective way to use regret for long-term growth is to keep a regret journal. Each time you experience regret, write down the situation, what you learned from it, and how you can use that lesson in the future. Over time, you'll notice patterns in your decision-making and areas where you can improve. Goal setting and regret. Another powerful tool for long-term growth is goal setting. Use your regret as a starting point for setting meaningful goals. For example, if you regret not focusing on your health in the past, set a long-term goal to improve your fitness and well-being. Break that goal into smaller milestones and track your progress. Practical exercises to turn regret into action. Here are some practical exercises that can help you turn your regrets into action. Regret reflection. Exercise. Write down 3 major regrets you've experienced in your life. For each one, identify what you learned from the experience. Next, write down one small action you can take today to address that regret or avoid similar regrets in the future. The future you exercise. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. What would your future self regret if you didn't take action today? Write a letter from your future self to your present self, outlining the steps you should take to avoid future regret. The What-If challenge. Identify one major regret in your life and challenge yourself to take action on it for 30 days. Each day, take one small step toward addressing that regret. Whether it's reaching out to someone you lost contact with, starting a new project, or making a significant life change. Part 4. Real-life examples of turning regret into success. J.K. Rowling. From regret to literary success. Before she became one of the world's most successful authors, J.K. Rowling faced significant personal and professional regrets. After a failed marriage and struggling to support her daughter as a single mother, she regretted many of the decisions she had made in her life. However, instead of letting those regrets consume her, Rowling channeled them into her writing. The story of Harry Potter was born out of this period of her life, where regret and hardship became the fuel for her creativity. Today, her story serves as a powerful example of how regret can motivate us to pursue our true passions and achieve greatness. Steve Jobs. Using regret to fuel innovation. Steve Jobs experienced one of the most public professional regrets when he was ousted from Apple, the company he co-founded. At the time, it was a devastating blow that left him questioning many of his decisions. However, instead of letting that regret define him, Jobs used it as an opportunity to reflect, innovate, and grow. He founded Next and later returned to Apple, leading the company to unprecedented success with groundbreaking products like the iPhone and iMac. Jobs' story illustrates how professional setbacks and regrets can be the catalyst for even greater achievements. Oprah Winfrey. Turning regret into a platform for empowerment. Oprah Winfrey's early life was filled with challenges and regrets, from her difficult upbringing to early career struggles. However, she used her experiences as motivation to create a platform for empowerment and change. Winfrey often speaks about how her regrets shaped her journey and inspired her to pursue her passions, connect with others on a deep level, and build a media empire that continues to uplift millions of people around the world. Part 5. The long-term benefits of turning regret into action. Building resilience. How regret strengthens us. Every time we face regret and take action to address it, we build emotional resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks, adapt to challenges, and keep moving forward. Regret plays a crucial role in this process because it forces us to confront our past choices, learn from them, and grow stronger as a result. By turning regret into motivation, we cultivate resilience, which helps us navigate the ups and downs of life. Resilience is not about avoiding pain or hardship. It's about learning how to thrive in spite of them. The more we embrace regret as a learning tool, the more resilient we become in the face of future challenges. Living a life without regrets. A fulfilled future. When we turn regret into action, we take control of our future. Instead of being passive observers of our own lives, we become active participants in shaping the outcomes we desire. This is the essence of living a life without regrets. Not that we never make mistakes, but that we learn from those mistakes and use them to create a fulfilling life. Living without regret doesn't mean avoiding failure. It means embracing failure as part of the process and using it as a stepping stone for growth. It means taking risks, pursuing your passions, and making decisions that align with your values. Inspiring others. The ripple effect of overcoming regret. When we overcome our regrets and take action to improve our lives, we not only transform ourselves, but also inspire those around us. Our stories of resilience and growth can serve as powerful motivators for others who are struggling with their own regrets. By sharing our experiences, we create a ripple effect of positive change. Whether it's within our families, communities, or the broader world, our ability to turn regret into action can have a lasting impact on others. Part 6. Harnessing the power of regret. Regret is a powerful emotion, but it doesn't have to be a negative one. When we learn to embrace regret as a tool for growth, reflection, and motivation, it becomes a source of wisdom and strength. Instead of letting regret weigh us down, we can use it to propel ourselves forward, making better choices and taking bold action to create the life we desire. The key to harnessing the power of regret lies in our ability to reflect, reframe, and act. By acknowledging our regrets, reframing them as opportunities for growth, and taking actionable steps toward improvement, we can transform our lives in profound ways. Remember, the past is a lesson, and the future is yours to shape. Don't let regret define you. Let it drive you to become the best version of yourself. Part 7. Overcoming the emotional weight of regret. Step 1. Recognizing the emotional impact of regret. Regret is not just a cognitive process. It comes with a deep emotional component that can weigh us down if left unchecked. Many people feel shame, guilt, sadness, or even frustration when they dwell on their regrets. These emotions can make it difficult to take action because they create a sense of helplessness. It's essential to recognize and understand these emotions in order to overcome them. Regret, when bottled up, can lead to emotional stagnation, preventing us from moving forward. The key is to understand that while regret may trigger emotional discomfort, this discomfort is temporary and can be transformed into something positive. Step 2. The process of emotional release. To fully harness the motivational power of regret, we need to release the emotional weight it carries. This involves acknowledging the feelings associated with regret and then finding a constructive way to process and let them go. Here are some techniques to release the emotional burden of regret. Self-compassion. One of the most effective ways to process regret is through self-compassion. Many people criticize themselves harshly when they experience regret, but this only deepens the emotional wound. Instead, Practice self-compassion by reminding yourself that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Self-compassion doesn't mean excusing past mistakes. It means understanding that mistakes are part of the human experience. Talking it out. Sharing your regrets with a trusted friend, family member, or therapist can be a powerful way to release the emotional weight of regret. By talking about your experiences, you allow yourself to process your emotions in a safe environment, and you may gain new insights from the perspective of others. Expressing emotion through creativity. Sometimes words aren't enough to release the emotional intensity of regret. Creative outlets such as writing, painting, or music can provide an emotional release. For example, journaling about your regrets can help you make sense of your emotions, while creative expression allows you to process those feelings in a nonverbal way. Letting go through rituals. Some people find comfort in performing a symbolic ritual to let go of regret. This could be as simple as writing down your regret on a piece of paper and then burning it or tearing it up as a way of signaling to your mind that you're ready to move on. Rituals can be powerful psychological tools for closure. Step 3. Replacing negative emotions with positive actions. Once you've acknowledged and processed the emotional weight of regret, the next step is to replace those negative emotions with positive, constructive actions. This is where the true transformation happens. As we've already discussed, regret can serve as a guidepost, showing us where we need to focus our energy for future growth. Here are some ways to turn emotional discomfort into productive actions. Service to others. A powerful way to transform regret into action is by helping others. If you regret not nurturing certain relationships or missing opportunities to give back, use this regret as motivation to be more present in the lives of others. Volunteering or simply reaching out to those in need can provide a sense of purpose and help you move past emotional baggage. Pursuing personal development. Many regrets are tied to missed opportunities for growth, whether it's education, personal development, or career advancement. Instead of dwelling on what you didn't do, take action to invest in yourself now. This could mean taking classes, learning new skills, or setting personal development goals that align with your values. Part 8. The Science of Regret and Decision-Making. How regret influences future decisions. The relationship between regret and decision-making is a critical one. Regret not only impacts how we feel about past decisions, but it also shapes how we make choices moving forward. When we experience regret, our brains engage in a process of reflection and evaluation, which can either lead to improved decision-making or, if we're not careful, to decision paralysis. Regret is essentially a feedback mechanism, our brain's way of signaling that we need to adjust our approach. But the key to turning regret into a positive force lies in how we use that feedback. If we allow regret to overwhelm us, we may become afraid to make decisions for fear of repeating past mistakes. This leads to indecision and missed opportunities. On the other hand, if we use regret as a learning tool, it can sharpen our decision-making skills and help us make more informed choices in the future. Regret avoidance in decision-making. One of the key concepts in behavioral economics is regret avoidance. This refers to the idea that people often make decisions based on the desire to avoid future regret. In other words, we are motivated to make choices that minimize the chances of looking back with regret. For example, if you're deciding whether to take a new job opportunity, you may think about how you'll feel if you don't take the job and later realize it was a great opportunity. This anticipation of future regret can push you to take action rather than remain passive. Practical application. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, will I regret not taking this opportunity in the future? This question can help you weigh the potential long-term impact of your decision and may push you to take a chance or make a bold move that aligns with your values. The role of anticipated regret in motivation. Anticipated regret is the regret we expect to feel in the future if we don't take certain actions today. This can be a powerful motivator. In fact, researchers have found that anticipated regret often influences behavior more than any other factor, particularly in situations where the stakes are high. For example, if you've always dreamed of starting your own business but fear failure, you may still decide to take the leap because you anticipate feeling more regret if you never try. The fear of future regret can motivate us to act even when the risks are significant. How to use anticipated regret. Reflect on a goal or opportunity you've been hesitant to pursue. Imagine how you'll feel in 5 or 10 years if you don't take action now. Use that sense of anticipated regret to motivate you to take the necessary steps toward achieving your goal. How to balance regret and risk-taking. While regret can be a useful motivator, it's important to balance the desire to avoid regret with realistic risk assessment. Not every opportunity will be the right one, and sometimes the potential risks outweigh the rewards. The key is to make decisions that align with your long-term goals and values while being mindful of potential regret. Here are some tips for balancing regret and risk-taking. Clarify your values. Before making any major decision, take the time to clarify your core values. When your decisions align with your values, you're less likely to experience regret later on. For example, if family is one of your core values, a decision that prioritizes family over career may feel more fulfilling in the long run, even if it means turning down a professional opportunity. Use a pros and cons list. This may sound simple, but listing the pros and cons of a decision can provide clarity and help you make more informed choices. Be sure to include the potential for future regret as one of the factors in your decision-making process. Trust your instincts. Sometimes the best decision isn't the most logical one. If your gut is telling you that you'll regret not pursuing a certain path, it may be worth taking the risk, even if the logical pros and cons don't fully add up. Intuition plays a powerful role in decision-making, especially when it comes to avoiding regret. Part 9. Regret and personal growth. How regret shapes our identity. Regret is often tied to our sense of self. The choices we regret, whether they're related to career, relationships, or personal growth, can influence how we see ourselves. In fact, some psychologists argue that our regrets are directly linked to our identity because they reveal what we value most deeply. For example, if you regret not standing up for yourself in a certain situation, this may indicate that self-assertion is an important part of your identity. Recognizing this can help you make more empowered choices moving forward, allowing you to act in ways that align with your true self. Using regret as a tool for self-discovery. Regret can be an incredible tool for self-discovery because it forces us to confront our desires, aspirations, and values. When we reflect on our regrets, we gain insight into what we truly care about. Here's a simple exercise to use regret as a tool for self-discovery. List your regrets. Write down 3 to 5 regrets that come to mind. These could be related to relationships, career, personal development, or missed opportunities. Identify patterns. Look for patterns among your regrets. Are there recurring themes? For example, do many of your regrets involve not taking enough risks, or perhaps not prioritizing certain relationships? Discover core values. Based on the patterns you identify, reflect on the core values underlying your regrets. For example, if you regret not pursuing a creative passion, this may indicate that creativity is a core value for you. Once you've identified these values, use them to guide your future decisions and actions. Regret as a catalyst for reinvention. One of the most powerful aspects of regret is its ability to act as a catalyst for reinvention. Many people who experience deep regret use it as motivation to make significant changes in their lives, leading to personal growth and transformation. For example, someone who regrets not taking care of their health may use that regret as motivation to completely overhaul their lifestyle, adopting new habits that lead to long-term well-being. Similarly, someone who regrets not pursuing a particular career path may decide to go back to school or switch careers, using their regret as a catalyst for reinvention. Practical tips for reinvention. Start small. Reinvention doesn't have to happen overnight. Start with small, manageable changes that align with your values and long-term goals. For example, If you regret not taking better care of your health, start with a daily 30-minute walk. Embrace lifelong learning. Regret often stems from a sense of missed opportunities for growth. Embrace a mindset of lifelong learning and continuously seek out new opportunities for personal and professional development. Whether it's learning a new skill, taking up a hobby, or pursuing further education, these actions can help you move beyond regret. Create a vision for the future. Use your regrets as a guide to create a vision for your future. What do you want your life to look like in 5, 10, or 20 years? Write down your vision and create actionable steps to move toward it. Part 10. Long-term strategies for turning regret into motivation. Building a regret-resilient mindset. One of the most important long-term strategies for turning regret into motivation is to build a regret-resilient mindset. This means developing the emotional and cognitive tools to process regret in a healthy way so that it becomes a source of learning and growth rather than a source of paralysis. Here are some key strategies for building a regret-resilient mindset. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you stay grounded in the present moment, reducing the tendency to dwell on past regrets. By practicing mindfulness regularly, you'll develop greater emotional resilience and be better equipped to process regret constructively. Develop emotional agility. Emotional agility is the ability to navigate life's ups and downs with flexibility and resilience. This includes being able to acknowledge and process negative emotions like regret without getting stuck in them. Psychologist Susan David, who coined the term emotional agility, emphasizes the importance of accepting your emotions while also taking actions that align with your values. Focus on what you can control. Regret often stems from a sense of lost control. One way to overcome this is to focus on the areas of your life where you still have control. By taking action in those areas, you can reduce the emotional weight of regret and create positive momentum for the future. Using regret to set meaningful goals. As we've discussed throughout this script, regret is often a sign that we haven't lived in alignment with our values. One of the most effective ways to turn regret into motivation is by setting meaningful goals that reflect those values. SMART goals. When setting goals to address your regrets, it's important to make them specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. SMART. For example, if you regret not spending enough time with family, set a goal to have weekly family dinners and track your progress over time. The long-term benefits of regret-driven action. When we turn regret into action, we experience a wide range of long-term benefits, including greater fulfillment, improved relationships, and a stronger sense of purpose. By consistently using regret as a tool for growth, we create a life that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. Over time, you'll find that your relationship with regret shifts. Instead of viewing it as a negative emotion, you'll see it as a guide, one that helps you make better decisions, pursue meaningful goals, and live a life without regrets. Regret is an inevitable part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to be a source of pain or stagnation. By embracing regret as a powerful motivator, we can turn our what-ifs into actions that shape a fulfilling, purposeful future. As you move forward in your life, remember that regret is not the enemy. It's a teacher, a guidepost, and a catalyst for transformation. By acknowledging your regrets, learning from them, and taking bold action, you can live a life of growth, resilience, and fulfillment. Take time today to reflect on the regrets that are holding you back. Write them down, acknowledge the emotions they stir up, and then use them to set meaningful goals for your future. Every day is an opportunity to turn your regrets into motivation, so don't wait. Take action now and create the life you truly desire. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more empowering content like this. Remember, your regrets don't have to hold you back. They can fuel your next move. Take a moment right now to reflect on what steps you can take to turn those what-ifs into I did it. Share your thoughts or your personal experiences with regret in the comments below. Let's grow together. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next motivational video. Take control of your future today.